Do you have any more business with Hatches?
Not really, no.
On your way out, he loads you down with promotional flyers for various diners and shops all over Sigil. Wishes you well in your endeavors, and lamentably he's too busy to come and hear you play. But hopefully, someday soon he'll have the opportunity. With my help, the poets are straight to the top. All the way to the top of the spire. Mark my words. And he ushers you out the door.
Right. I'll chuckle and say, Harris, we're already at the top of the spire.
We had a bunch of people drop out of tabletop. I guess they got bored and quit. McDohl's still here. What is LC Clone doing this afternoon?
Well, and looking for Happy mostly.
Very easy to find Happy. He's not a hard guy to find. And you see he's got a crowd of fans crowded around him that he's kind of shooting the breeze with. Most of them are women, let's be honest.
Is he already in costume?
You're not sure if Happy has a costume.
Yeah.
He always looks about the same to you. And he grins very broadly when he sees you approaching.
I don't exactly make contact with him immediately.
Okay.
I'm gonna duck into an alley, and making sure nobody's around, and then I'm gonna change.
There's no alley where nobody's around. That's not possible.
I'm just
you would have had to change in the privacy of your own kit. You're not going to find a phone booth or a back alley, especially not in the market ward. Not this time of day.
Okay.
You can just say you did change when you were home.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. So are you in your luchador regalia?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Happy smiles very broadly as you approach.
Then once I get close enough, I will shout and issue my challenge. Let's frickin' go, dude. Not like that, but.
So what do you say? What's the challenge?
Oh god, I'm no good at this.
By Odin.
By Odin.
I am the cream.
What?
This is Nodal's Luchador TV show that...
Have you not seen the cream? Oh my god.
So you issue your challenge to Happy.
Yeah.
And he instantly gets into character. Becomes angry. The gaggle of girls and fans around him kind of disperse, making a circle around. Mm-hmm. And you can see people start passing money back and forth around.
Yeah.
And he calls out, I'm gonna break your balls! Roll initiative.
What the hell have I come back to?
You
I
didn't
must
hear
have
about
been up for
Ballbreaker?
like 10 minutes.
You didn't hear about Ballbreaker?
Roll some initiative.
We're tied. What's his dex?
Now you go first on a tie.
Okay. Alright then.
Now, are you actually going to be attacking Happy, or are you going to be performing?
I'll be performing.
Okay.
But I will I will activate my I will activate Psionic Discipline Celerity to get the get a little extra movement.
Okay.
For just to the idea is I'm gonna do a flying leap over some of the crowd and land in the cleared out area and ready to go.
Okay. Make it an athletics check.
Athletics. Uh-oh. 9.
So you kind of clumsily vault over part of the crowd, and you don't land as well as you'd like. It didn't look that impressive. But right now, most of the crowd is focused on Happy.
Yeah.
Who is currently barreling towards you with his freakishly large arm.
Mm-hmm.
1 point of damage.
Ow.
And the reason it's 1 point of damage is because you're just trying to make it look like it hurts.
Yeah, I'll. Can I throw a performance check to play that up?
On your turn, yes.
Okay.
When you go to make an attack, you'll make a performance roll instead of it's a hit roll.
All right.
So, swings his haymaker at you as you're coming up.
Ooh.
Clocks you against the side of the head. This would have rung your bell if he was fighting for realsies. You could feel the force drain out of the punch a split second before impact. And you make a show of the punch reeling to the ground. And with his left hand, you see him winding up, going for an underground cup, going right for the balls.
Uh-oh.
You're up.
Leap up and kick that arm out of the way.
Okay, what was your performance check?
My performance check is 16.
Okay. And with great celerity, you spring up from the ground, spin around, and kick his normal-sized arm out of the way. And you see him go reeling backwards as though you got him with like a hurricane kick. Again, he's playing up the impact on his side.
Yep.
People begin cheering around. You guys are putting on a hell of a spectacle. We'll see if Happy actually gets your balls.
This is a shoot ball punch, by the way.
After exchanging a few more blows, Happy comes up with his freakishly big hand and tries to go straight for Ciclon's crotch area. But he misses. Wide. You very deftly dodge out of the way. Go ahead and make your next attack.
All right. That's going to be a jumping knee press to his shoulder, to his big arm shoulder.
What was the input for that?
That's a half circle back. Half circle back kick.
Oh, see,
Every single move is a DP.
I figured Ciclon would be a charge character. What was the performance on that?
That is a 15.
Okay. I don't know what an armbar is. You're going to have to describe this for me.
I imagine it's something similar to a clothesline.
Wait a second here. Do you not know what an armbar is?
No.
What character are you playing?
Did I say
Oh, get
armbar?
on.
I meant, what did he say, knee bar? He said something.
The knee press.
Knee press, that's what he said. But I don't know what that is. So you have to tell
Basically,
us.
basically it's like a jump and kicking with both legs, but I'm just pressing with the knee instead of the whole leg.
What part of Happy are you aiming at?
His freakishly large arm.
His freakishly large arm.
Yeah.
And you get him on the upper part of his arm, and he reels backwards, and he falls over to the ground, and you pin his arm down with your knee. And you make a show of pummeling him against the chest for a few moments. And at that you hear a child out in the crowd yell, "Hardheads are coming! Everybody scatter!"
Oh fuck.
At which point the
Yeah.
crowd very quickly begins to disperse.
Yeah. Keep on my keep my celerity. I'm going to move. I'm just going to start ducking and weaving through the various parts and nonsense of the bazaar.
Okay, so you quickly scatter. You quickly get out of the way.
Yeah.
And getting away from the area, ducking through a couple of carts, past a cart that's selling leeks, another one selling potatoes, coming up behind the best fried rat food truck in all of Sigil. And on the other side of that alley, you meet up again with Happy. And he looks... he always looks happy, but...
Yeah.
You can see he's disappointed that the fight was broken up early.
Didn't last longer. Yeah.
Didn't last very long.
Hardheads are cracking down hard today. Did something happen?
He shakes his head. I'm sure I don't know. I keep telling you, the way around this hardhead issue is to go fight in places that they don't go.
Sorry, not gonna happen.
He says, "Come on, tonight, I've got a good one lined up. Tag team match, I could really use you. Fight against a couple of real bad cutters, a couple of Earth Genasi over in the Hive."
Ciclon his face will darken a little bit at Earth Genasi and is like, no thanks.
Does he know anything about your past?
No.
No. He says, look, I wouldn't offer this to anyone else. I'm asking you because I know you actually know how to fight. So when I say these guys are a couple of real bad cutters, I mean exactly that. Rumors is they're connected with a couple of recent disappearances in the Hive. So I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. So come on, Ciclon, help me break their balls. He says those Genasi ones, they're like gravel. They crumble real nice.
Well, I suppose someone has to make sure you don't get yourself killed.
And he slaps you on the back with his actual arm. He says, excellent, excellent. And he sets a meeting place for you out on the border of the Hive somewhere.
Okay.
He tells you, well, this is a real fight, which means there's a real purse. Which means there's real jink in it for us. Also means no hard-head intervention. Make sure you bring your A game.
I always do.
Well, I don't know. That entrance just now in the bazaar, I would give that a C+, maybe.
Thanks. Way to boost my morale before an actual fight.
Oh, don't take it personally. I'm just breaking your balls.
He didn't get to do it in the fight. Got broke up.
I'll just rub my temple and then then turn and walk away.
See you and Happy part ways. What is Serenity doing this
That's my
afternoon?
favorite.
She is going to her. Like I said, probably gonna get out of Sigil. So the portal back to Surok is in the Hive.
So you're headed to the Hive.
Yep.
Okay. On your way to the Hive, coming through the lower ward, where are you headed? Where did we decide your portal was in
We
the Hive?
didn't specifically. I just put myself somewhere in the Hive.
Okay. Coming through the Shattered Temple district here,
Okay.
which I guess is next door to Little Bitopia, which probably has a portal to Bitopia in it, but okay. I don't know where all the portals are either, don't feel bad. You're stopped in the road by a rather large Harmonium patrol that seems to be singling you out in particular. So you see them coming up the road towards you. The patrol's being led by a very large, muscular, and very bearded member of the Harmonium, wearing very distinctive armor. Let me get a description for you. He's wearing plate mail emblazoned with lightning bolts, and on his back he has strung a huge gilded battle axe. And when he sees you coming up the road, they're coming from the direction of the Hive, which strikes you as suspicious. And when he sees you headed in that direction, he points at you, says, "You there, halt!"
Serenity will stop, just sort of put her hands on her hips,
And
stare at him expectantly.
when that happens, the other people on the street kind of give way. They don't want any part of this. The Harmonium Patrol comes up on you, and you see the big bearded man looks you up and down. State your name and faction.
Serenity of the Ciphers.
Says, "I thought so. We're looking for a couple of ciphers. Earth Genasi, yes?"
She just stares at him.
So do you happen to know anything about Honestas the Truthful?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Says, "Really, is that so?"
She just kind of looks at him expectantly, like,
So would you be willing to swear to that under a zone of truth? And at that, he reaches back and snaps his fingers, and one of the patrolmen in the back of the patrol comes up. You can see he's got a wand in his hand, spell focus.
She nods. Doesn't really care.
He points to two of the other patrolmen. Says, "You two, go clear out that kip," pointing to just a house off the side of the street. They go in, rouse the residents out of the house. You hear some racket as some furniture is being moved around. A couple of old barrier out on the street. Confused, but they're not putting up a fight. And he invites you in.
Joel, walk in.
Does Serenity have any kind of religious background?
No.
No, okay. Do you resist the spell?
No.
Okay. So, they have you inside. Patrolmen close the door behind them. You've been stopped on the street. Everybody in Sigil gets stopped by the Harmonium now and again. This is highly unusual. This is very much in the realm of abuse of power at this point. To pull a citizen off the street into a private questioning like this is virtually unheard of. Once he gets you inside, he invites you to sit down. He introduces himself as Hallis Dwath. He says, "Do you know who I am?"
Shake her head. Don't believe so.
His patrolman casts the spell in the zone of truth. So just let me know if you're going to lie to this guy at all.
Okay. I did not lie that I don't know who he is.
No, you don't. You have no idea. He asks if you've ever heard of a Dao named Jandar.
I don't believe so.
He says, "You don't believe so, or you haven't?"
And your spell says that I haven't. She
And-
looks kind of like the mage.
And you say, "I haven't," and you look over to the mage. Dwarf looks over at the mage. He nods. He seems placated. He says, "You don't know anything about Anastas the Truthful."
I've never heard that name before.
He says, "What do you know about this recent influx of your kind into Sigil, many of which you were joining up with the ciphers?"
I've been here for 2-3 years. I don't know any particular reason. I don't have anything to do with my kind back home.
And he nods, and he seems very impressed that you're being very forthright with him.
Am I free to go now?
How do you ask that? Like, just in a very curt, matter-of-fact kind of way?
Yeah, just am I free to go now?
He looks over back at the wizard, and he nods, and you see the wizard make a motion, and the spell is negated. He says, "You are, but before you go, if I may have a word." So I may have
She's just
need of
staring
your,
expectantly. Sorry.
I may have need of your assistance. He offers his apologies for the harsh treatment. He says, "I didn't know at first sight that you were one of the good ones, but now, of course, that's been established. Anastas was a very good friend of mine, and she was doing very good work. And we believe she was cut down by an Earth Genasi assassin working with this Jean Dao, who is bringing his slavery ring into Sigil."
Is that possible? Is that
Are you asking me, or are
It's
you
like-
asking Dwath?
out of character? I don't remember if slavery is legal. I think it is.
Very, very not.
Okay.
Not to say it doesn't happen, though.
Right.
There's a lot of gray areas when it comes to like indentured servitude and such. Like if you steal and are caught stealing, the courts might sentence you to a time of indentured servitude to so and so's house for however long it is. But as a rule, no, slavery does not happen in Sigil. The bigger slave rings on the plains would be out of the city of Brass, and it is headed up by Afridi and Dao. And
What was that Dow's name?
Jandar. Jandar. And it's not, that's not a secret. Everybody knows that slavery is taking place, and most people are elated that it's taking place a very long way away from here. The problem with Sigil is it's not really a long way away from anywhere.
Right.
So
So yeah, her response is that's not legal, is it?
And he shakes his head. We work day and night to make sure that the citizens of Sigil are safe from this kind of evil from beyond the portals. Somehow this Gendarme seems to have made headway, and I believe Anastas was on his trail, and that's why she was silenced. He says, forgive me if I speak out of turn, but given that you are an Earth Genasi, and given that you are a member of the Transcendent Order, and he seems a little uncomfortable as he's talking now. Says, I believe a monetary arrangement can be made if you are willing to be my eyes and ears inside of your faction.
She kind of balks. Like, what exactly do you expect me to see? If someone was enslaving people, I wouldn't stand for it.
And he says, no honest citizen would. All the more reason you should accept my offer. The sooner we can find out who killed Anastas, the sooner we can put all this to bed, the sooner we can see Gendarme before a tribunal.
I don't see any reason not to help you. Unless, and I'll look at the wizards. Is that spell still running?
No, he dropped that.
Can you have them do it again so I can make sure that you're on the up and up?
And then he balks at that. Says, I assure you, I am a high-ranking member of the Harmonium, and I am as good as my word. He offers his hand out to you.
So just, if I find anything about the slavers, just send the information to you? She'll nod when he puts his hand out to him.
Okay. And he nods. And he says, and a reasonable payment will be made. And I will do, my men and I will do our utmost to keep your collaboration with us, between us. I realize that if word of that got out, it may damage your reputation. Although I can't imagine why. And
so I just go to the, what's the Hardheads headquarters?
Their headquarters is...
Jail?
No, that's the Mercy Killers. The barracks is the Doomguard. I should know this.
So should I.
Courts is the Governor's.
Right.
I'd have to look it up in the book.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I don't. I have the... We have our document that I set up. Let me open that real quick.
Wait, who are the Mercy Killers?
Mercy
They're
Killers...
the executioners.
Yeah, they run the prison. They deal with... Harmonium are the police. The Governors are the courts. And the Mercy Killers are the executioners.
Philosophically, they're nihilists who believe in entropy.
I was gonna say, that's a hell of a thing. It's a faction just for the executioners.
Well, their broader faction philosophy is justice. The Factal's name is Allison Nalesa, and...
I'm thinking the Doomguard.
Yeah, the Doomguard are entropy. Allison Nalesa is a Mercy Killer, and she's... One of her famous quotes is... Because she's known for never sleeping. And one of her factotums ask, when she sleeps, she says, justice never sleeps, why should I? Why should you? I'm looking up the Harmonium right now. Oh, they are in the city barracks, so the Doomguard must be in the armory.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the city barracks.
So I just go to the barracks and ask for you? If I find anything out?
He says, ask any patrolman on the streets. He says, they call me the half-dwarf. Although, I can't imagine why. Looking at him, you can easily imagine why. He looks like a human-sized dwarf.
Is he serious when he says we can't imagine why?
Yes, he's very serious. You get the impression this is not a man who jokes very much.
She's smirking at this point. And will I be stopped again? I mean, are there other groups that are just going to keep pulling me aside?
He says, do you intend to break the law?
Shakes her head no.
Then I'll see to it that you're not. And at that, the other patrolman opened up the door. He seems satisfied with your meeting.
Okay. Are they going to leave first, or want me to?
No, they're showing you out first.
Okay.
Some of the other patrolmen are setting the furniture back up. Setting the place to rights.
Okay, I'll step outside.
Okay, that brings us to Kelian.
Yes.
What do you do this afternoon?
Is Torier around?
Go back to the Hall of Records?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Torier's in his office.
I'd like to talk to Torier.
And as soon as you step into his office, he looks up and he looks furious with you. And he starts inquiring about all kinds of jobs he placed on your desk that haven't been completed yet. He's been burying you with work for the past 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
More than any one person could do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the greeting as you go in.
We need to talk, I say, closing the door.
Very well. I would say we do absolutely need to talk. We need to talk about these fines that have not been collected. We need to talk about these bills that haven't been posted. And he starts...
We need to talk about the job 2 weeks ago.
Says, what job 2 weeks ago?
That job.
He looks at you expecting more details.
The one with the hard hat.
Go on.
Have you told anyone? I say with a little bit of an accusing tone.
He says, Kelian, I have no idea what you're talking about, and I'm not sure I like your tone.
Can I roll insight to figure out if he's purposefully playing dumb with me, or if he's
No
trying
need. You don't get the you don't get the idea that he's going to say one word about this particular job inside the Hall of Records.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's very clearly lying.
Okay. And if that's the case, then I take a moment and I say, I mean, sure, I am behind on my various tasks, but I'm getting them done as they come in, and I'm doing them in order.
So the purpose of this meeting is to just keep me abreast of a status update on your current tasks. It seems to me this time could have been more wisely spent completing your current tasks.
I give him a little bit of a stare. Indeed. You were correct. Perhaps we will talk later then.
Very good. Before you go, and he reaches back and grabs a large ledger, blows the dust off of it, turns back around. Says, these are various tax findings that are found to have anomalies in them, some of them dating back as far as 57 years. I need you to go back through them. Make sure they're correct. Triple cross all the T's, as it were.
But of course.
And he hands you this ledger, and it collapses in your arms under the weight of it.
Like, correct. All right, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but the impression that I'm getting is that I'm essentially trying to build an alibi by saying that I've been so completely and utterly busy, there's no way I could have done anything, just in case it all comes back.
Roll an insight check. Roll it at disadvantage.
Aw. Okay. Uh, 14 plus insight. 18.
18?
Yeah.
That's not the impression you get. The impression you get is that Torier's playing you somehow. He used you to do some of his dirty work, and now he's trying to keep you under his thumb for some reason.
Interesting. Okay. Alright.
On your way out the door, he barks at you. He says, "Let me know when you're done with that. There's more where that came from."
You got it, boss.
And Kelian, grow a goddamn spine. You're a weasel.
I sort of laugh and smile. Well, boss, not all of us can be you now, can we?
And he agrees with that statement. So what do you do with the rest of the afternoon? Do you actually get to work on this busy work?
At first, but I imagine still distracted with the thoughts of the badge going missing, and his boss playing him a little bit, and he doesn't know why. Eventually goes back to his apartment to continue to hunt for the badge, which it must be somewhere. He's convinced must be somewhere near his apartment, if not in it. Being as inconspicuous as possible, trying not to raise any suspicions.
So you're not, just to be clear, you're not making like any inquiries of locals about this missing badge that you stole off a dead hardhead?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
Just to be clear on that.
No.
So you're spending the rest of the afternoon...
It's like looking in bushes and things like that.
Gotcha. Okay, and again, though, you turn up, no sign of it, no trace of where it might have gone.
Okay.
Did we do Riot's afternoon yet?
Yeah, she did the. She met with the promoter.
We done Mahogany's afternoon yet?
No.
What's going on, Mahogany?
Mahogany was supposed to return at lunchtime, so he doesn't.
Okay. You go back to the gymnasium and meet with Ronoth, and Ronoth gives you the name of a hedge wizard, a very low-level cipher that signed on very recently, a Tiefling. Let me go to Fantasy Name Generator here.
FantasyNameGenerator.com.
His name is Debly. We can make a quick note of that. This is a very new recruit to the ciphers. He hasn't done anything to prove himself to the faction or as a person, but Ronoth sees this as an opportunity to help Debly make some ties in the faction and maybe prove himself, prove his value to everybody. And right now he's just kicked back in one of the rooms in the gymnasium.
All right, I'll thank him and I'll head over there.
And Debly has very reptilian features. He has like lizard scales and a forked tongue. But other than that, he more or less looks like a human. Totally bald on the top of his head. And going in, you see he's got kind of generic-looking wizard's regalia hanging throughout the room. His robe and his pointy hat. He has like a gnarled cane in the corner. And when you walk in, he's poring over his spellbook and looks up. And you see recognition immediately on his face. "Zah, you're the water Genasi that Ronoth sent my way. Yes. How can I help you? What can I do for you today?"
And I say, Rono said you could help me look for something. And I'll describe the box to him.
So what is the description of the box?
It's a smallish, I'm going to guess it's about probably 4 inches on either side. And it's just a small wooden box. It's not super well decorated or anything. It was just basically something that I threw together to hold the worm in it.
Okay. And he interrupts you partway through the description. And he says, No, I got it. And then he turns around and casts a spell. He makes a big show of it. Says a lot of magic words and does a lot of fiddly things with his hands. Throws powder in the air. Throws some in your face. Throws some in his face. Sneezes. And then he sits very quietly for a moment. He says, "I got it. I found it. I know where it is. Follow me." And he just darts out of his room from the gymnasium.
Back again.
I like his spirit. I'll follow him.
This can only end in hilarity.
And he takes you off to the bazaar, to a stall that sells wooden boxes. Hundreds and hundreds of different kinds, different shapes and sizes. And when he gets you there, he gestures towards the stall and towards the dumpy old woman who's running the joint. And he looks very proud of himself.
And I'm going to frown at him, and I'm going to say, okay, so which one is it?
And you see him sweat a little bit. You see him waver. His confidence breaks a little bit. And he turns around to the woman. And, good morrow, good woman. Which of these boxes fits this description? And he starts rattling off the description you gave him earlier, but he gets details wrong. Because he wasn't paying attention.
And I'm gonna cut him off.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to... I mean, he sucks, but he did find me this box seller. So I'm going to more accurately describe it to her, and I'm going to say, and it has a small worm inside of it.
And she tells you that
Have you seen anything like that come through?
She doesn't deal with worms, but if you go to the stall across the street from you over there, they have a variety of flavors. But no,
and I'm going to grab Ronoth and pull him aside, and I'm going to say, Ronoth, this is
Debly.
Or not Ronoth, this is Debly. I'm going to say, Debly, this isn't what I wanted.
And like, how do you grab him? How do you do it?
I just grab him, like grab his shoulder, pull him aside.
He's okay. Let me level with you. Okay, I'm not totally a wizard yet. But I'm working on it. I'm practicing. I have a spell book. Did you see that? I have the spell book. I left it in my room, right? But I can still help you. So all you need to do is you and me. And he does that little thing where he points at his eyes, then your eyes, and his eyes again. Like, we're on the same wavelength, right? So all we need to do is find someone who can cast locate objects. That's what we need. And then I can copy the spell.
I immediately walk away.
What did I say?
I'm walking back towards the gymnasium.
And you leave Debly, and he's just very disappointed.
What did I say at the outset? This can only end in hilarity.
Was this box something that Mahogany made?
Yes, okay. I made the box.
Gotcha.
I specifically made it to not look valuable.
Gotcha. But someone stole it all.
Right.
So heading back to the gymnasium in disappointment. Where do you go from
Well, less
there?
Disappointment, more annoyance.
Annoyance. But this is kind of common amongst the lowest level ciphers. This kind of thing happens quite frequently.
Well, I'm not so much annoyed at Debly, because he's useless, but, I mean, for all I know, he's meant to be useless.
Oh, that's true. Everything has their own perfect form.
But Ronoth gave me the wrong information.
Did he?
And I'm going to go to Ronoth, and I'm going to say, Ronoth, Debly was no help at all.
Says, how so?
Well, for one thing, he's not a wizard.
Says, well, that won't do it all. He told us he's a wizard.
Should have been more honest about himself.
So, no luck then finding your missing object.
I found a variety of very nice boxes.
Says, have you considered, Mahogany, that you were meant to lose this object?
Have you considered that I've been meant to find it, but I haven't found it yet?
Perhaps the way to find it is to stop searching.
How would I know that now is the time to stop looking?
Wow.
But do you look in vain?
Can looking ever be in vain?
But of course.
I'm sure to find something.
Many of our greatest members find great things the moment they stop looking for them.
How can they find anything if they're not looking? At best they can stumble across it.
Finding, stumbling across, these are just semantical properties of the same word.
If they're the same word, then why would there be different terms for them?
So I grow wearisome of this debate, Mahogany. As if you like.
I grow wearisome of being given wizards. Speaking of which, not wizard and wizard are two very dissimilar words.
So you believe that I was not helping in good faith. I'm hurt. Truly.
And yet I still have no wizard.
He says, shall I arrange another meeting for you? And he waits with his chalkboard tablet.
Yes, please do so.
And he scrawls down a few more scribbles. He says, very well. Come back tomorrow morning.
And, I'm gonna just walk out.
Okay, and go where?
I'm going to head over to the Great Bazaar.
Okay.
It's starting to seem like one of those things that you just have to do for yourself.
And that was everybody's afternoon, right?
Yeah.
I didn't go straight down the list because we had people dropping in the beginning of the afternoon.
Sorry, my internet bad.
I'm gonna actually take 2 minutes and run to the fridge real quick and grab a Pepsi. And so think about evening actions.
Okay, I already know what I'm gonna do.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna walk into the Harmonium.
Seems like a place for good people to be.
Not a buttface disapproves of your debate with what's his face.
All right, Riot, what's up for this evening?
All right. So I know from the material you gave us that the Harmonium HQ is the city barracks, but where is that?
Where is the city barracks? It would be in the ladies' ward. I wouldn't imagine. Let me double check for you. Yeah, it's in the ladies' ward. Probably near to the court. Where is it on this map?
Did I accidentally find it?
Looks like this here. This would be the prison. This is the court. So the barracks ought to be this here.
Oh, okay. Riot is gonna go try and find a bit of privacy, maybe in a restroom or in a pub or something.
Okay.
And cast disguise on herself so she can walk into the Harmonium HQ.
So you're disguising yourself as a member of the Harmonium?
Yeah.
Okay. Who is your Harmonium alter ego?
Let me turn to everybody's favorite website.
Which website is that?
What website
Yeah.
is that?
It's fantasynamegenerators.com.
.com.
It's .com.
Host.10.com.
We'll call her alter ego her name is Princey.
Okay. When Riot goes to infiltrate other factions, does she always use the same identity with one from each faction, or does she change it every time?
Right.
Or?
One from each faction.
Okay. Now, the barracks, as a general rule, are not open to the public, but they are, of course, open to the Harmonium. And nobody tries to bar your entry when you go in. What are you looking for when you go in?
I'm going to tell people that that I'm on the Anastas case, and I want to get a look at the case file.
The few people that you talk to, you get a mixture of like grieving because Anastas was well loved, but also like impressed. Like they're impressed that you've been assigned to this case, considering you're like some nobody. You're just a brand new hardhead off the street with the standard issue gear and whatnot. And yeah, you're directed to the half-dwarf, who at this point should be back at the barracks within the hour.
Good, because it's still only lasts an hour.
And before long, the half-dwarf patrol, he had 5 patrolmen. They do come in the barracks. Their shift is being over. He looks very determined. Like he looks like he hasn't been sleeping much. Like he's been on this every waking moment as often as possible.
Yeah, and I'll greet him and say you look a little ragged. They said you could use some help, so they sent me over.
And he looks you up and down.
If I get a look at the file, so I can jump in with both feet.
He says, "Who are you?"
Princey.
Princey. Well, there's no file on the Anastas case, so why don't you tell me what you know?
All they told me was that she's gone missing. Killed or snatched or what?
Well, everybody knows that much. How do you know it?
Well, let's see. Can I ask, how is the Harmonium organized?
Like a military.
Like, do they have precincts across Sigil?
Probably not precincts in the sense that you're thinking of, like a police precinct. Their operating would be in and out of the barracks, but they would have their patrols fan out from the barracks, and they patrol the streets 24/7. So there's a strict regiment of schedules for these patrols throughout the city. Like I say, the Hive itself is not patrolled. Other faction headquarters that are friendly with the Harmonium probably have some kind of permanent residence, some kind of permanent establishment. That would be places mostly in the ladies' ward.
Okay.
You wouldn't find such a thing in the Fest Hall, the Gymnasium. You might in the Hall of Records, though. I would think the Hall of Records would have someone.
Okay. I'll tell him that I got it from one of my informants. He mentioned it, so I...
Are you at liberty to discuss the identity of this informant?
Barrier chap. Shouldn't go giving his name, but it never steered me wrong before.
Who's he with?
Believe he's an Indep, actually.
Say no more. What is it he's told you?
He told me he had some kind of design on her, some kind of plan, but it fell through when she went missing. I asked about the nature of design.
He holds up his finger to quiet you.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me to my quarters.
Okay. All right.
And he's... I suppose he would be a captain in the Harmonium, which is like one rank higher than would typically lead one of the standard patrols out in the streets of Sigil. So he takes you to one of his quarters, one of the back areas of the barracks, where he has his own private dwelling. He lives in Sigil full time. He doesn't have any duties off plane, and his job would be to supervise several larger patrols throughout mostly the ladies' ward. He asks how you know Anastas.
And said, I think I've only seen her in passing once or twice, patrolling the same ward here and again.
So you're familiar with her patrol outside of the where was it at?
Clerk's ward, I think it was.
Yeah, Hall of Speakers.
No.
You were familiar with her
yeah,
patrol
yeah.
outside of the Hall of Speakers.
That's right. I've been posted there once or twice myself.
And he says, we found her body.
She's dead then.
An alley off of Grey Dragon Lane.
And you canvassed the area?
Stabbed in the back. You asked if he canvassed the area?
Mm-hmm.
With that, he gives you a look. Like, Like, of course we did. Why would you even ask that? We followed all of the standard protocols. But he doesn't answer it verbally. He just shoots you the look, enough to silence you.
Yeah.
She was stabbed in the back. All of her belongings, weapons, armor, were still on her person, except for her badge. She wore a badge. Would you like to describe the badge, Kelian?
Yeah, sure. It's a 5-star thing. Let me pull it up.
Okay.
It is a silver badge in the shape of a 5-pointed star.
They'll let you pick your own badge in the Harmonium.
Well, I mean, they have a standard sigil that they wear, the symbol of the Harmonium that they must wear on their person at all times. But this would have been like one of her personal effects that she had on her. So this wasn't actually given to her by the Harmonium. This is something that she wore before that. And for some reason, Kelian decided, I want that. Then he took it.
Yeah, imagine that.
Don't blame him.
Did you give this guy's name? I forget.
This is the half dwarf. This is Hallis Dwarf.
Hallis Dwarf, okay.
Yeah, this is the one that shook down Serenity earlier.
Okay. And I'll ask him, and did we do locate object on the badge? Turned up nothing?
Shakes his head. Says, no such luck. He says, we know that she was investigating. And he looks at you before he answers. He says, what did you say your clearance was again?
And I'll say, it's rather low. I might not be authorized to know what you're about to tell me.
So what do you know about the Inner Planes? You ever been to the City of Brass?
Not once, sir.
Describe the kind of things that happen in that godforsaken place. You would think that I was describing the Abyss. They mean to bring it to Sigil. They mean to take her citizens, slap manacles on them, and drag them away as slaves. This is what Anastas was investigating.
Well, I think I understand the situation, sir. What would you like me to do?
Well, you really can't be of any help to me unless you have contacts inside the Transcendent Order. Do you know anybody at the gymnasium?
Yeah, I have an informant there too. Informant there.
Then find out what you can of the comings and goings of any recent Earth Genasi recruits.
I'll go and shake the vines, see what turns up. And I'll salute him.
And he nods and dismisses you.
Alright, and I leave.
And what's Kelian doing this evening?
He is going to go pay Ronath a second visit.
Okay. So you arrive at the gymnasium.
Ronath's still there.
Rona's always there.
Cool.
This is his job is to talk to you. That's his job at the gymnasium.
Perfect. I inform him that my boss Torier says that the amount that he has paid for his proof of payment for the quasi-annual Githzerai construction permit tax was unsatisfactory, even though it seemed to me to be very satisfactory. He found it completely unacceptable.
And so Ronath inquires as to the documentation of this task. Can you produce any forms that show that it has not been paid?
I pull out I have the giant ledger with me, so yeah. I say it's all in here. Put it on the table.
And you see he's taken aback a little bit. Like he's not really sure what he's looking at. So you throw the ledger on the table. Right now it's closed. What do you do with it?
I open it. I point to a seemingly random page and I say, see, looking at here, it says that It says that while you filed for the permit, it is, and there is associated unpaid tax with it. Because of the unpaid tax plus of its accrued interest, you actually owe over 300 gold pieces for this specific permit.
Kelian, was it? What is this really
nod.
about? Get to the point.
I sort of shrug innocently as I don't know. It seems as though you've made an enemy in the Hall of Records.
I've never met anyone in Sigil who doesn't have an enemy in the Hall of Records. Have I made an enemy of you? Or has our fair order?
I don't think so. I have no personal qualms with you anyway. In this case, I am but a mere errand boy, as it seems.
One of the functions of the ciphers, outside of maintaining the gymnasium and the surrounding streets, is they make the highest level ciphers are excellent mediators because their instincts for people are very spot on. And they are also known as not having any major allies or enemies amongst the other factions. This is something that Kelian would know, being a cager his whole life.
Sure. Okay.
So what Romani says next is that he'll make the appropriate... He'll file the appropriate paperwork to see that the money is paid from the cipher's coffers. And he says, kind of menacingly, and of course there will be no issue that your name is attached to it as the collector looking after these monies. If this would of course be a matter of public record that Kelian is shaking down the Transcendent Order for back payment of a tax that is only who knows how old.
Of course.
Very well.
I pick up a ledger and I head on out.
And go where?
Back to my office or my desk in the Hall of Records.
Okay, and there's even more stacked in your inbox when you arrive.
Does it all seem legit in the sense that he's not making things up? These are legitimate
He is
issues.
absolutely making things up.
He's absolutely
He's
making
got
things
you
up.
chasing
Gotcha.
down things, the kind of things that are dead and buried. He's got you dredging up old business that doesn't even pertain to markets that are open anymore. The tax code in Sigil is complicated, but it's typically not this complicated.
Gotcha. Would it be uncouth as someone who works on the Hall of Records to just destroy this shit?
Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
The Hall of No Records.
All of no records.
No records. 14 plus 2 is 16.
It definitely wouldn't be legal.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't imagine anybody except Toyer and whoever Toyer's bosses are would know it's gone. Like, he's got stuff sitting here that you can't imagine anybody will have asked to pull for any reason. It looks like he's cherry-picking stuff that is not important specifically to keep you busy. If you were just to destroy it, it's very unlikely any of it would come back to you.
Yeah, we're gonna destroy this shit then.
Okay. Toyer would absolutely notice, though. Toyer,
Of course.
for a fact, would.
Let him.
So how do you destroy it?
Burn it.
Where at, though? Just right here in your office?
I no, I take it back to my place and I'll burn it.
Okay, stuff it in the fireplace, light it
Yeah,
up.
and light it up.
And you feel satisfied at having completed the good day's work.
You pour yourself a bourbon.
sit
Watch it
by my
burn.
chair, pour myself a bourbon, enjoy it. It's like, oh, what a warm fire this is. This is beautiful. Chilly night in Sigil.
Hey, hold on just one second.
Netflix and chill.
Records and burn.
Serenity, what's your job this evening? What are you up to? Is Destil muted?
Alright, so given that my whole reason for leaving seems to not kind of be moot, I think I'm just going to wander around the Hive a bit.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
I mean, I'll see if there's any other... I will keep my eye open for any other Earth Genasi, but that's about it.
You don't see any, but you hear rumor that there is going to be
Be right back.
an arena match, like a bare-knuckle boxing affair that people are getting excited about in this area of the Hive. And one of the teams is a pair of Earth Genasi brothers.
That sounds interesting. Is that tonight?
Oh, it's tonight. It's in a couple of hours.
Yeah, I'll totally go to that.
Okay. So let's move over now to... well, let's get Mahogany out of the way first. Mahogany, when you go back to your shop, getting on into the evening, there is a pallet of wood sitting out in front of your door.
And I'm gonna get started.
Okay. And it's very fine wood. Just if what she told you is true about where and how it's grown, it almost certainly has some magical properties to it. But what they were, you couldn't be sure.
That's not my problem. It's just wood.
Is that your approach to wood? It's just all wood. Doesn't matter.
I mean, every different wood has its own unique identity,
Mm-hmm.
but my job is just to bring that out. I don't necessarily need to understand it.
Gotcha. What is Mahogany's take on sapient pearwood?